Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
Dear economic freedom fighters, I need an explanation because I could not believe what my ears heard flowing out of the mouth of Julius Malema in the leader selection conference, if I can call it that, in KwaZulu-Natal that they are currently having right now on the 11th of February. What Julius Malema said, I want us to discuss this on a very serious note as Pan-Africanist. If you are not a Pan-Africanist, it's okay. If you are just an EFF supporter, it's okay. If you don't understand what Pan-Africanism means, it's okay. But for those who do understand, I want us to discuss this because I'm telling you, it did not sit well with me. Specifically, one sentence. Let me play the clip. The clip is not going to be long. Listen carefully, and then we will come back to chopping it down.
When you send people to parliament, you forget them. But when you call rallies, you want them. When you call volunteers, you want them. When you want someone to put up posters, you want them. But when it's time to go to parliament, you forget the youth. So we have legislated that DP, 40% must be the youth. 50% is women. It's non-negotiable, that one. And can I please get another glass with water? And the 50% of women is not only with parliament. Everything else that requires representation in the EFF, there must always be 50-50. Minimum of 50 women, not just 50%, minimum. There can be more. Women can be more. Men can be more. Women must be more. So please, when you leave this product you're going to produce here, if it doesn't have 50% women and doesn't have 40% youth, you are now inviting us to tamper with your list. Do the right thing if you don't want us to tamper with your list. Make sure it has got 50% or more women, 40% or more youth, and geographic spread. And we must make sure that all the demographics of our country are represented in that list. I now insist that there must be a white person in our list. There must be Indian person in our list. There must be colored person in our list, because our country looks like that. And our list must be a reflection of our country. When I say a colored person, I don't mean one. When I say white person, I don't mean one. When I say Indian, I don't mean one. There can be more. But we can't have for 10 years in parliament without a single white person. And we are being accused that we hate white people. We don't hate white people. We hate racism. We don't have Indian. Okay, we had one, Godrich got, oh, sorry. So, at least on coloreds, we've been doing well a little bit. We can do more. So let our list be a reflection of us as a country, because the EFF is a reflection of our country.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Said So. I'm your host, King053, Mr. Easy Imali Eneng, and we're back at it again with another one. And this time around, we go to KwaZulu-Natal for the EFF list conference. This is a conference where they're electing provincial leaders and national leaders. This will be the list that Julius Malema or the leadership of the EFF will be taking to the IEC, I guess, for selection for the people who will be going to parliament and so on and so forth. But in this conference, and again, if you guys want to listen to the entire conference, so that we don't misquote the CIC, and we make sure that we got the content that he was speaking about, and then we don't misquote him. I can post that for you guys. I can post only his portion. I don't mind chopping the conference up. But I was listening. Excuse me. I was listening to the conference, and it was disturbing for me as a Pan-Africanist. I don't understand why is it that when you are pro-black, to prove that you are not anti-white, you have to then welcome white people in your camp. Listen to what Kim Hiller said. Kim Hiller said when they were interviewing her, and the gentleman asked him, Titus asked,
almost subscribes to the notion that white people are superior. And that's where the tragedy lies, not in white people thinking they're better. I mean, we know that's a false dogma, but it breaks my heart when we see black people buying into that notion. And I mean, we see that in everyday life where black people will go into a white supermarket. Black people will consume white media, although the images of black people in mainstream media are shocking. Black people are criminalized. They're seen as poor family representatives. You know, they've always been put down, not only in South Africa. You see that in the US.
Yes.
But yet, black people will still go to white media first. They'll still go to white banks. And I think that's a very sad symptom of the power of white supremacy. And that's what I write about, is that black people have fallen under this. What is
Titus asked him on the interview at the the EFF studios, said, you were in the EFF. Why did you leave the EFF if the EFF was treating you so well and everything was all right with the EFF? Why did you leave the EFF? Amongst the other reasons that she stated two main reasons. The first reason, she said, when the EFF started voting with the DA, for her, it confused her. And she strongly disagreed with the EFF voting with the DA. To her, she saw it as a betrayal to the black movement. Remember, this is the same reason that Andile Ngcitama stated when he left the EFF. He says they are no longer the radical left that they used to be. Okay, we ignore that. And another reason that Kim Hiller said she left the EFF, she said, because I'm a white person. I'll try to get the video and play it, guys. She said, I'm
of whiteness.
And you served in the EFF. Why did you leave?
I think there were a lot of reasons. I mean, I was elected as the first deputy secretary of Gauteng, and at first I felt so honored and excited and like acknowledged. And then I looked around and I thought, what is a white person doing in a black struggle actually?
Okay.
And around me, I saw many, many more capable young black women and men who could have done my job much better. So I think it was a learning experience for me that I wanted to step back from a leadership position because I don't believe I don't even believe necessarily in white people in black organizations, because a lot of them have done more harm than good. We see the ANC, I think, infiltrated by a lot of white liberals. So that was one of the reasons I think I stepped back. But
I'm a white person. What am I doing in a black party where I am working with volunteers and members of the EFF who can do what I am doing even better? Meaning what? This woman does not see color, she sees ability. She sees people for who they are. I'm really going to play that clip here. I'm really going to play it. So there is, it's not a, let's accommodate each other because of color. It's let's accommodate each other because of abilities, like who can best do this job. Okay. And now listen, I'm gonna chop it down. Now, when the ANC started this thing of females have to be represented in higher structures and everything, it was good. And we voted for that because we believe that women are able to lead as much as men can do. Okay, there's no problem with that. But we saw that they were electing or selecting women that had no backbone, like women that could not stand their ground. In the ANC, I can name Lindiwe Sisulu and Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. I have to think about another strong woman. You see how long am I thinking? If I had to name men that are strong, I would not think that long. You understand what I'm trying to say? So sometimes in trying to balance the genders, then the women by default who come in are not necessarily as strong as the men. And women, please don't attack me on the comment section. You know what I'm saying is true. Sometimes you ask yourself, how did Bathabile Dlamini get to that position? How did the spokesperson of the ANC? Some of you don't even know who the spokesperson of the ANC is currently right now. Some of you don't know. Some of you don't know who the Deputy Secretary General of the ANC is. You understand what I'm saying? So the EFF says, and I saw that the ANC, in a way, they were using this as a strategy to walk over women, because they will then command, commands to women to follow. Another example to make is what is happening in KwaZulu-Natal. You saw the chairperson of the ANC is not the premier of the ANC of the province, and you see how they treat that woman. I've played it so many times how they treated her. So Julius Malema starts by saying, with the list that the comrades are going to select, it needs to be 40% youth. And I like what he said with the youth. He said it has to be matured youth that are old, not children. We can't go and put children in parliament. They won't be able to stand the pressures of parliament. A great example is their youth leader, who is a recommendable, is a great leader, and he rightfully so makes an example about him. So when we say 40% youth, we don't mean weak bones. Strong, matured, well-traveled, well-learned, very mature youth. That's the people that you want to put in parliament. Then he says 50% women in all structures. Any structure that is that must represent the EFF must have 50% women. There is a fault in that. I'm telling you, because we did not develop women. We constantly kept women in the I want to say in the smaller leadership structures. Now we're bumping them up to big structures. You understand? Can you imagine if the ANC get a secretary general that is female, that the first female secretary general to replace Bombalula, Gwede, Fikile Mbalula, and then suddenly you have a woman that you did not properly build up, that you are just putting there because they are a woman, understand, and they've got small credentials. For me, it's not a good thing. So yes, I agree with 50% women, but 50%, who are these women? They must be strong, because males, they are willing, first of all, to die for their positions in political structures, and secondly, they're willing to kill. And I'm not saying that is what males do, but I'm telling you the reality of politics in South Africa. You guys see it everywhere, where councillors and mayors, people getting killed for political reasons. Because once you get in an office and you've got the power, the people that come in the office and demand things, as a woman, sometimes I feel like it's not worth it to die. A man would say, "Nah, I'll die for this. I'll die for this. I'm not leaving my family." That's why women in general outlive men, because women don't take the risks that men take. Men take stupid, uncalculated risks sometimes. You understand what I'm saying? We saw Sylvia Lucas when she was in. Who was she interviewing? Was it for the? Yes, I think it was for the. Was it for the Chief Justice or for the Public Protector? One of the two positions. I think it's Chief Justice. When she was interviewing the lady was crying in the panel, and she said, "Yeah, it's okay to cry. We as women, that's how we express ourselves. Men don't do that. Men don't do that." I'm getting to my point. So Julius Malema says the EFF leadership has to represent the geographic and demographics of South Africa. Then he says, "I now want to insist that there must be a white person, an Indian person, and a colored person." Oh, when he said that, I'm telling you, oh, oh, yo, oh, yo. I'm insisting now, when you guys elect, imagine there's no white people that are growing up into the structures of the EFF. If they are in the smallest minority ever. And the reason they are there is because we black people have got a sickness of thinking that if white people are not involved in what we are doing, then we are not doing something right. Again, I repeat, being pan-Africanist and being pro-black does not mean you are anti-white. It just happens by default because you are looking after your own people, that you don't consider other people. You are just too focused on this dream of liberating your people, that other people cannot take your concentration away from this. You guys understand what I'm saying? And then he says, it cannot be that we have 10 years of the EFF without white people in parliament. He says, because we are being labeled as a racist party, and we don't discriminate against white people. We hate racism. This is what is happening. Now, if you came 1994, 93, and you told a black person that if the ANC takes power, they will never give the land back. They will leave the white people to live in peace and harmony in South Africa. They will leave the land into the hands of the minority. They will do that. No one would have believed you in 1993. No one. No one. And I can go and pull files for you guys. Don't make me do it, please, on the comment section, because I know my channel has got a lot of EFF supporters. Don't make me pull files of what Julius Malema said about white people in the past. You guys can do that yourself. Don't make me go and pull files. I don't want to do that. I'm just making a point that we as Pan-Africanist, we as black people have got the illness of thinking that if we don't have a mixture of white, a drop of white, let's have two white people here around us. And then, we are going to be taken serious. And I know that is how black people see us. When black people see that you bring a white person, they get intimidated. But when white people see a single white person with black people, they think one of two things. They think that white person is a sellout, or they think these black people are weak. One of two things. You guys go in the comment section and tell me if I'm right or wrong. I don't mind debating you guys, but don't make me go and pull files from long time ago, because I don't want to make the CIC look bad. But I'm telling you, I'm shocked that he can insist. I mean, that they must elect white people so that the EFF must not look like a racist party. For me, it is utter nonsense. Utter rubbish. As a Pan-Africanist, the journey that we must travel as Africa, as Africans, is still so far. It's still so long. The journey that we must travel, I'm telling you, I told you guys, if we were to decolonize ourselves from speaking English, it will take about 50 to 100 years to learn Kiswahili here in South Africa. Here in Africa, it will take 100 years. It will take at least 3 to 4 generations for us to force downthroat the Kiswahili language into the throats of our children and our grandchildren, and our great-great-children will then speak Kiswahili. It's not even the next generation that's going to speak it. So if we think of that, if we continue allowing apartheid names to be around, the street names to be named after apartheid heroes, the cities, Johannesburg, nobody's speaking about changing Johannesburg, nobody's speaking about changing Durban. What does Durban mean anyway? Kimberley, nobody's speaking about changing Kimberley. If you change East London to Gqeberha, then why is it that we're not changing the rest? Remember, we are speaking about these people. They are only 7% of the population. 7%. And you are saying out of the 90% that are in the 90% black and colored people that are in, and colored people, I hate labeling them outside the black bracket because they are black. You are saying we must now go look for a white person to put in parliament just so that we don't look racist? I don't mind it. There's people like Kim Hiller, Carl Nias. You know, there is people that have got a track record that is undeniable. I mean, Carl Nias, I'm sure in his heart he thinks he's black, that one. You understand? But I don't know. Someone explain it to me. I'll play the whole clip, but I'll be playing it for you, not for myself, because I was listening throughout the whole thing, and I rewinded, paused and rewind many times, and that's why I just gave you the small clip that I gave it to you guys. I'm going to close again with it so that you guys can listen to it. But again, I say, as Pan-Africanists, as people who are pushing the black agenda, we cannot see our organization as weak, or we cannot care who looks at our organization as a racist, as long as we are standing for the rights of our people. Because nobody will stand for the rights of our people besides us. Nobody. The DA eliminated Musimai Mane like that because it was not portraying a good look to the white monopoly capitalist. You understand? If the ANC has got Chinese councillors, I mean, what is going on in our country? What is going on? Are we forgetting that Afrikaner people are settlers here? Are we forgetting that these people are from the Dutch, the Netherlands, the United Kingdom, the British? These people are not from here. Are we going to ignore that? Are we going to ignore that they've taken our land? Are we going to ignore that they've stolen our culture, our religion? Are we going to ignore that they are continuously till today stealing our minerals? Are we going to ignore that they are still in a position of privilege, that even though they are 7% of the population, the rest of the 90% of the population are forced to speak Afrikaans in schools? Are we going to forget that in 1976 learners died for being taught in Afrikaans and said we want to be taught in our own language? They were shot and killed. Are we going to forget that there were people that ran away from their homes because they were scared of the police in 1976 and never came back, until today cannot be accounted for? Are we going to forget all of that? And just because we want to be looked at this party that is all inclusive, multiracial, we're going to say, please vote for a white person and put a white person in there so that people don't think that we are racist. Come on, my people. I hope that's not your mentality, my people. I really hope that's not your mentality. I am pro-African. I am pro-African without any doubt, any favor, any fear in my mind. And it does not mean that I hate white people. It does not mean that. I'm just advocating for black unity. That's it. I just want to see my people succeed. And in every organization that I'm busy with, I'm going to make sure that it's black people that benefit. It's black people that benefits. That's it. That's it. And I'm not going to say who's not going to benefit. I'm saying the ones that are going to benefit is black people. Because if we allow this thing to continue, if we allow this thing of um, um, poisoning our organizations with trying to dilute them with the white skin, just so that we look good overseas, so that we look. I don't know who is Julius Malema trying to look good at. I don't know who is he trying to impress. I'm very disappointed with Julius Malema. I promise you. I'm very disappointed. But you guys go in the comment section. I know you guys are going to be attacking me on this one. I'm ready. And as a Pan-Africanist and as Africans, I always teach you guys that when we argue or disagree on things, we disagree to in a position to correct, in hopes that we can convert, not argue in a position where we want to kill. That is the big problem that we have as Africans. And I'll play also Uvuyo of the ATM, what he said there in closing. But I'll play the two clips. Let me play them, guys. If you are new here, you have never heard about King Said So. We are trying to reach 20,000 subscribers. And, you know, when we get to 20,000 subscribers, every time we hit the 10,000, people are getting t-shirts. People are getting gifts from us. The first bunch of people got their t-shirts this week. I think 2 people are still missing. Uqoliso or Tulane in, where's Tulane? In Midrand, and Uqoliso in Eastern Cape. I think this week they should get their t-shirt. I'm not gonna use Pep Store again. They wasted my time. It took more than 2 weeks for people to get their gift. It's very embarrassing. But anyway, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you leave your thoughts on the comment section. Tell me, what do you think about this? That we don't want to be looked at as a racist party. That's why we must select white people. No. Listen to this.
Make sure it has got 50% or more women, 40% or more youth, and geographic spread. And we must make sure that all the demographics of our country are represented in that list. I now insist that there must be a white person in our list. There must be Indian person in our list. There must be colored person in our list, because our country looks like that. And our list must be a reflection of our country. When I say a colored person, I don't mean one. When I say white person, I don't mean one. When I say Indian, I don't mean one. There can be more. But we can't have for 10 years in parliament without a single white person. And we are being accused that we hate white people. We don't hate white people. We hate racism.